Hello freaks and cheeks, welcome back to another 642 Tiny Things to Draw update. First up we have earbuds. I decided to draw the earbuds inside the ears because I thought that would be more interesting, and to make it more fun I made the ear pointed with a whole bunch of piercings because I like fantasy and piercings are cool. I used a black Artist Loft colored pencil for the ear. I pressed harder to get it darker and used less pressure to make it lighter, and then for all the piercings in the earbud I used what was supposed to be red, but it came out a little more orange, so I guess it's black and orange now instead of black and red. It's outlined in Micron, and for a little bit of highlight I used a white Grabie acrylic paint marker. It is crazy how indoor versus outdoor lighting changes the color so drastically. Anyway, next up we're drawing a wart, or rather a little cluster of warts. I decided to go very scribbly with this one and I didn't really plan it out. I just took a Micron and started scribbling. For coloring, I'm using a red Artist Loft colored pencil around the warts to get some skin irritation coloring, and then right up against the edge I darkened the red a bit by pressing harder. To get some shadow slash outline slash more irritation, the wart itself I'm coloring in with the light brown and pushing harder to again get darker shadows along the edges and in the texture lines. For the surrounding skin, I'm coloring it in with yellow for funsies because woo, bright colors, and then again for a bit of highlight using a white Grabie acrylic marker. I don't think this looks much like a wart, but it's done now, so next up we have a peephole. I decided to go a little creepy with this one, so I drew a whole bunch of holes in a fence, and then in each hole there is an eye staring at you because that's lovely. This is outlined in what I think is a gel pen. It feels like a gel pen. It's some brandless pen that I had laying around, and it's shaped like an alien, so I went with it, and actually I like this for art. It outlined quite well. Anyway, now I am putting down a layer of graphite and smoothing that out with my finger and adding some shadow in the background as well. I decided to keep this one mostly black and white with the graphite because creepy, but I did add a little bit of red colored pencil to the eyes to make that more disturbing. And then moving on to the next one, we have a moth hole in a sweater. This one is also outlined in that same brandless alien pen, and it was quite tedious to get that woven yarn texture. I didn't record it, but after outlining everything, I went back over the yarn portion with some scribbly texture lines to try to make it more like fuzzy yarn. Then I colored it all in with Artist Loft colored pencil. I think this one came out pretty cute. Like, I love that stupid little moth face sticking through the moth hole. It's adorable. Next are the raisins on a bagel. I started coloring with the light colors of the inside of the bagel first, starting with a light tan and a yellow colored pencil, and then working my way out with the darker colors using a bunch of different shades of brown. When looking at my reference, I noticed that the edges around the raisins are also lighter than the rest of the bagel, so I colored the edges in with light tan and yellow as well, and then went back to coloring in with the darker browns. Also, those little dots you see scattered throughout are done with a brown and a tan Grabie acrylic paint marker because I noticed that there's like little bubbles in the bagel, and I thought if I put the acrylic paint dots down first and then colored over it with colored pencil, it may somewhat give me that bubbly texture. I don't know, this is an experiment. And of course, I'm using my darkest brown to shade the bagel folds around the raisins. Then for the raisins themselves, I took a light purple and outlined all of the raisin wrinkles, and then I came in with a violet, so it's a little bit more on the redder side, and colored in the whole thing. And also shaded the edges with that violet by pushing a little bit harder. I'm filling in the negative space in the center of the bagel with a light blue, and then I called it done. Unfortunately, my bubbly texture idea didn't really work as planned, so that's sad. But anyway, moving on, we have a belt loop. For the base layer, I put down some graphite and smoothed that out with my finger. Then I came in with a singular blue Artist Loft colored pencil that I colored this entire thing in with. For shading, I just pushed a little bit harder to get a darker color of that same blue. And I added some scribbly scribble lines in an attempt to get denim texture. And sticking with the denim theme, I chose a blue that was a bit on the gray side. I also double outlined this once with said gray-blue Artist Loft colored pencil, and then again with a brighter blue Japanese gel pen whose name I still cannot pronounce. It will be in the description box. And lastly, I went over all of these stitches with a white Grabie acrylic paint marker. There it is all done, a measly little belt loop, and moving on to 0.0000001%. I had absolutely no idea what to draw for this. Like, how do you visually represent a percent, especially percent that is that tiny? Like, that is basically non-existent. I decided on doing an unfinished drawing, so here I have a little sketch of the somewhat back of the head where you can see a little bit of the face and the back of the ear, and that's all I got for this. This is probably the worst drawing in this entire book because what the hell? I don't like this prompt. I'm gonna end this video here. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check the description box for the link tree if you want to see more of me and for the list of supplies, and I will see you in the next update. Goodbye!